What's up, y'all? What's up, Extreme Gains family? I'm Chuck, and this is Extreme Gains. I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is or ever will be financial advice. Please do not take it as such. Today is Sunday, Sunday, February 26th, 2023. This is my AMC, GME, and SPY weekly update and preparation video where I go over everything that I am personally looking at and looking for with all three tickers moving into this upcoming week. I'm going to do that by going over some of my regulars, my snake algo method, intro week for all three tickers, and some technical setups and levels. So with all of that said, let's dig in. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope y'all had a great week in the market last week. And more importantly, I hope you made some extreme gains for yourselves. No announcements to make, so I'm going to go ahead and dive right into the charts. Currently on your screen is AMC and my current intro week snake. AMC finished the day on Friday, regular trading hours, down 0.48% and then up 1.13% in after hours, ending the week trading at 627. The current intra-week snake on your screen in red is the day prior to the previous divergence from and completion of fulfillment of the previous intra-week snake. This current red day prior to intra-week snake has been fulfilling its projection now for 8 consecutive weeks. You can see that all of last week, once again, it continued to fulfill its projection as shown and as projected in last week's weekly update and prep video. You can see the location of price action within it and what the upcoming projection would be from it if price action were to continue to fulfill it. From a technical perspective on AMC, right now I am looking at this as a top build out. This will be the third top hit on this macro daily third in my box top method and box top schematic that's here. And in this scenario, I will be using this as a top up neckline down setup. In that setup, the significant levels of support and resistance that I will be looking at will be to the upside, a breach of $7, followed by $7.35, followed by $8.75. To the downside, a breach of the neckline at $5.90, followed by $5.50, followed by $5.02, and then $4.40. And that is everything that I am looking at with AMC. Up next is GME. GME finished the day on Friday, regular trading hours, down 2.98% and then up 0.2% in after hours, ending the week trading at 1958. The current intra-week snake is on your screen. This is the red day prior to the previous divergence from and completion of fulfillment of the previous intra-week snake. This red day prior to intra-week snake has been fulfilling its projection now for 6.5 consecutive weeks. And once again, just like AMC, all of last week, it continued to fulfill its projection as shown and as projected in last week's weekly update and prep video. You can see the location of price action within it and what the upcoming projection would be from it if price action were to continue to fulfill it. From a technical perspective on GME, I am looking at the most local price action as a potential bottom build out. We had the retest of this macro third that provided this box top build out here with a compressed compact W on the ascending level of support. And then that moved back up for a retest on that top. We put in another double top with a neckline from that shared neckline breach back downside. And we are currently sitting just about around this internal ascending level of support that provided the double bottom bounce on that previous W. So I'm looking at this as the exact same thing. So in this bottom, potential bottom, I should say, build out, I'm looking at a neckline up, bottom down scenario. In that scenario, the significant levels of support and resistance that I will be looking at will be to the upside, the neckline at 20.35, followed by 21.90, followed by 22.70, followed by 24.60. To the downside, if that significant level of support at 19.50 were to breach, the next level down $19, followed by $17. And that is everything that I am looking at with GME. Last but not least is SPY. SPY finished the day on Friday, regular trading hours, down 1.07%, and then down an additional 0.06% in after hours, ending the week trading at 396.15. The current setup on SPY that I talked about in last week's weekly update and prep video was like this. This was the previous intra-week snake that had fulfilled its projection for 6.5 weeks, and price action clearly diverted from it to the downside, away from that continued upside fulfillment. I showed the set of 3 intra-week snakes in this scenario last week, and this is the only one of the 3 that is still valid. You can see the continued fulfillment of it throughout all of last week, the location of price action within it, and what the upcoming projection would be from it if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Now, I also talked briefly about this. If this were to be looked at and interpreted as a mirrored fulfillment of this upside projection in a downside manner versus the divergence from it, then the set of 3 intra-week snakes that I clipped from up here last week would be invalid, and that would require me to clip a new set of 3 from down here from the completion of fulfillment. So if price action does not put in a boomstick back to the upside to fulfill the first scenario intra-week snake, the only one that's still valid that I just showed you here, back to the upside as it's projecting, then I am going to have to look at this as a mirrored fulfillment and a completion of fulfillment and clip a set of 3 from down here, which I have already done. So if this second scenario were to be the right scenario, then these will be the 3 new intra-week snakes that I will be looking at. And I started tracking these from the middle of last week throughout the latter part of last week, and they are all still intact. Here's the blue day of divergence only. You can see the position of it, the fulfillment of it, and what the upcoming projection would be from it if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Then orange is the either or. Likewise, there's the position, the fulfillment of it throughout all of last week, and what the upcoming projection would be from it if price action were to continue to fulfill it. And red, the day prior to only. Likewise, fulfilled all of last week. And you can see the location of price action within it, and what the projection would be from it if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Here are all 3 of them. Now, I don't know which scenario is the correct one, whether I needed to view this as a divergence up here, or whether I needed to use this in a mirrored position for that continued and completed fulfillment and clip down here. So basically, the separating factor here will be whether or not price action fulfills this previous scenario 1 intra-week snake with that boomstick to the upside directly as what it appears to be market open first thing tomorrow. And you can see how the rest of these do not show that as an upcoming projection. So if price action does not fulfill it in that manner, then I will be looking at scenario 2 intra-week snakes. But if it does, then obviously this will be scenario 1 that I will be looking at and using moving forward. It kind of has me in a precarious position right now and not knowing what the correct thing to perceive here is. So those are both of the scenarios that I am tracking and looking at, and what I have looked and deemed to be that separating factor. From a technical perspective on SPY, the previous top build out that we were looking at last week in the weekly update and prep video was down by its neckline, breached its neckline after the retest with a gap down at the first part of last week, and then continued to the downside throughout last week and started this could be potential bottom build out here. So in this bottom build out, I will be looking at it as a neckline up, bottom down scenario. In that scenario, the significant levels of support and resistance that I will be looking at will be to the upside. 401.65 will be that neckline. A breach of it, I'm looking for a move to 404, followed by 407, followed by 411. To the downside, this support level at 396. If that were to breach, I'm looking for price action to move down here to this confluence of the macro ascending level of support and the macro descending level of resistance at around 392. If 392 at that confluence were to breach, the next level down I'm looking at will be down here at 388. My friends, my family, that is everything that I have that I am personally looking at with all three tickers moving into this upcoming week. And that is everything I have for this video. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you all very much. I greatly appreciate it. Good luck in the markets this week. Make some extreme gains for yourselves. The next time I see you all will be next week's weekly update and prep video on Sunday, so look out for that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will talk to you all on the next one. Later.